A yogic term is one that has a derivative meaning. The word childish is a derivative of child. So understand, yogic is having a derivative meaning. Example, childish, derived out of child. That is one that only signifies the meaning of its root together with the modifications affected by the affixes, like adapt plus able, adaptable. In fact, the structure element out of which the word is compounded afford the whole and the only clue to the true signification of the word. The word is purely connotative. Again, I will explain connotative because this slide, these 2-3 slides are very important to understand how the Vedic mantras and the words meanings is derived. Connotative, having the power of implying or suggesting something in addition to what is explicit, implicit, inexplicit. Let's take an example. Green with envy. Now, green with envy doesn't mean that I am turning green, right? It's a way of saying. So this is what connotative is. It's implying something. My brother is tree. So can my brother be a tree? Actually, there is a way of saying, okay, my brother is tree. Means he is jad. He is just standing erect with not applying any brain. So that is what yogic term is. Few important thing again. In yogic term, there is a derivative meaning. It has an implicit, explicit and meaning. Like example, my brother is tree. So whenever you see the words like this in Vedas or mantras, which we are going to see, don't think it's a proper noun. There is something behind which is being expressed in the mantra. A rudi term is the name of a definite concrete object where the connotation of the word gives no clue to the object denoted by the word. Very simple to understand. Proper noun. So if you say this is a chair, it's a proper noun. If you say this is a PowerPoint, this is a proper noun, right? So rudi words are basically proper noun words. In case of yogic word, we arrive at the name of an object. Again, at the name of an object by what may be called the process of generalization. So the beauty of Vedic word is the way the words are, they actually describe the attributes and the properties of an object. So coming back to something which is moving on its axis, it will take the movement, where it is located, what are the properties of the object, and then it will derive the name of that particular object with attributes. That is the beauty of Sanskrit words, which are yogic words. We see, taste, touch, smell and operate upon the object by the multifarious means man possesses of investigating properties of sensible objects. We compare the sensible impressions it yields with sensible impression already retained in our mind and constituting our past knowledge. So imagine the immense knowledge the world is carrying. It's carrying the past knowledge, it's carrying the current attributes, it's carrying everything in it. We detect similarities between the two and thus get a general or a generic conception. I'll give you an example here. An individual to roughly discriminate him from other is arbitrarily called John. Arbitrary. You can call anyone as John, Tom, Dick, Harry. Okay? But the way it is done, Pankaja, take example. The Kamala stands, for instance, in the relation of the bond to mud. So there is a way of saying Kamala. If I read it from proper noun, that is Rudi word point, Kamala is a name of a lady. But when I am seeing that in the Vedic mantra, it's a yogic word, yogic word. Kamala means born to mud. Now, who is born to mud? It cannot be a woman, right? It means there is something going on. Geologically or some kind of a science is going on inside the mantra. So now, you see how we differentiated Rudi word and yogic word. When you look from a yogic perspective, you find science. When you look from a proper noun perspective, Rudi perspective, you find the name of people in that. That is the problem why when you talk to even Hindu priests or scholars, they say Saraswati name is there inside the Vedas. That's why there is a goddess Saraswati. Basically the meaning is totally different. We are going to see that. Similarly, Pankaja. Panka, the mud, and Ja is the beard. So see how deep the meanings are. It's not simply you open the Vedas, take a mantra and just read and it is. Definitely Sanskrit is an easy language, but easy, the colloquial Sanskrit is easy. But if you have to really go into the Vedas, it requires years, at least 3 to 5 years to understand how you interpret the meaning of all these mantras. So whatever I explained so far, am I talking any sense or I am just making up the things? Let's see what the author of Mahabhashya maintains, that the Vedic terminology is all yogic. So now I am not saying that, I am just quoting it out from Mahabhashya. The author itself is saying that these are yogic terms, they are not Rudi. You cannot consider anything in Vedas, or starting from, if you go beyond Gita and Ramayana, even Gita and Ramayana, you cannot consider them as a proper noun every point of time. That's why we have different stories. So let's see. Nartya cha dhatuj maha nirukte vyakarane shatkasya chutoktam negama rudi bhavam hi sushadu mahabhashyam. So this is, I am just taking from chapter 3, section 3, which means etymologically speaking, there are 3 classes of words: the yogic, Rudi, and yog Rudi. But the author of Nirukta, who is Yasakacharya, a great intellectual person, based on whom almost all the acharyas have written their commentaries, except the Westerners and some of the Indian acharyas, modern day acharyas. And Shatkayana, among the grammarians, maintain all the words to be derived from dhatus to be yogic and yog Rudi. And Panini and others believe them to be Rudi also. But all the rishis and munis, ancient authors and commentators, without exception, regard Vedic terms to be yogic and yog Rudi only, and the Laukic terms to be Rudi only. So imagine, everyone, they are saying that even if it is a Rudi, it is basically yogic. So there is nothing like Rudi or proper noun in the interpretation of Vedas. If you go by the ancient grammarians or any of the Hindu scriptures. Now a friend of mine who is basically in US, he is a leader of one of Hindu organization. He said, oh, whatever these people are teaching about Vedas, I don't go by that because Vedas are interpreted differently by different people. How can I say? So here I am saying there are only 7 ways a Vedic mantra can be interpreted. There cannot be an 8th way of interpreting Vedic mantra, and I will show you those 7 ways what they are. Coming back to this, the above is a clear and definite statement of the Mahabhashya to the effect that the Vedic terms are all yogic. It is not difficult to prove by numerous and long quotations from Niruk and other older writings that all of them agree that the Vedic terms are yogic. Yogic means they are not proper nouns, my friend. See the mistake that we have committed. People like me, when I was not even aware of all this, just used to read and say, oh, what is this written in Manusmriti? What is this written in Vedas? This is all wrong. But now, when you understand that Pankaja or Kamla is basically something else. It's not the name of my brother, sister, mother or someone. So, let's see. Finally, the first canon for the interpretation of Vedic term laid by Yasakacharya, the author of Niruk, that Vedic terms are all yogic. The 4th section of the first chapter of Niruk opens with a discussion of this very subject, in which Yasakacharya, Garga, Shatkayana and all other grammarians and etymologists unanimously maintain that Vedic terms are all yogic. So here we finally confirm that everything is yogic, no more discussion about proper noun. But there are certain rules for Vedic mantra interpretation which Yasakacharya has given, and these are the guidelines. All Vedic words are derivative or yogic, derivative. Again, like child, ish, derived from child. Niruk, 1.12, Yaska further declared that if we do not adhere to the Nirukta or its theory of interpretation, no clear idea of the Veda can be rightly understood. The study of Nirukta lead to the right interpretation of Vedas. So go to any temple, like I go to all the temples, go to let's say ISKCON, which is really a great place. Go to even, there's a big temple, I think Swaminarayan temple. You go and talk to the priests, they are not even aware of this Nirukta and all this stuff. And if you talk about Vedas, everyone will say, oh, Vedas they don't exist. They are gone long back. The reason is because the day Hindu society or different religions, they start reading Vedas, the same day all the wide different religions which are spread across the planet, they will start dissipating slowly, because the final truth has been revealed by God 1.9 billion years back. It's not like 3000 or 2000 years back, God came again and gave this wisdom to people. Again, Yaska does not accept the existence of tales or legend in the Vedas. We have discussed this point above. The following citation deserves notice here. The war description of war is merely figurative. So again he says, Tatopamarte Yuddha Varna Bhavanti Nirukta 2.16. The war description of war is merely figurative. We will see some beautiful stories that how the war description is actually a kind of a science which is going in the universe, but the way our people interpret nowadays, it's some kind of a war which is going between high caste or a low caste. Yaska does not attach too much importance to the case endings and essence. The etymologist must give a sensible interpretation. He should aim at the meaning even at the cost of case ending and essence. He says, Artho nityah parikshet yatharth vibhakti hi sannatme. So Nirukta, anyone can buy the book Nirukta. You can go to market, get Nirukta, and you can read 2.1, 2.1, 1.8, 6.1. In Nirukta, the word Maskrat occurring in the Rig Veda 1.7.23 has been interpreted as Mas plus Krat, maker of month. Now, this Maskrat, so much confusion about this. People of different sects and religion, they say it is Mas, it's a meat. Make meat, Krat, maker. Now, where it is, if you divide this word into two, Mas plus Krat. Mas means basically month. Krat means one who makes, maker of months. It is talking about God who created all these different seasons. Now you are saying Maskrat because it's a proper noun again, making meat. They show that Yaska does not adhere too much to the Pada text. His aim is to give the exact and real meaning. Now I cannot leave this portion from Nirukta when I was going through the book. Very interesting thing which all the viewers who are listening to me, those who are watching this presentation, somehow Yasakacharya called all of you Rishi in case if you abide by truth in life. Let's say you listen to this presentation example, you go back to some, let's say Arya Samaj temple, you go back to any other temple, you try to find out the reality, and then you come back and you say, oh yes, our ancestors were right. So what he says, I am mantrarth chintadbhayu ho abhilyaha. So this is all Sanskrit, it will take time. Nirukta 13:12. Meaning, coming to the point. The reflective deduction of the sense of the mantras is effected by the help of oral tradition and reasoning. The mantras are not to be interpreted as isolated, but according to their context. For a person who is not a seer or a devotee like us, I am neither a seer, I am neither a devotee. I am sure my viewers or the listeners or people who are sitting here, they are not a seer and they are not a devotee, has no intuitive insight into their meaning. We have said before that among those who are versed in tradition, he who is more learned deserves specific praise. When the rishis were ascending, man inquired of the gods, who shall be rishis or seer? The god gave them for a seer the science of reasoning. The act of deducting by reflection their sense of whatever meaning any learned man deduces by his reasoning possessing authority equal to rishis. Now, I am not saying this. This is said by the great person that even people who are listening or viewing this presentation, if you don't know Sanskrit, if you don't know Vedas, you don't know anything, right? But the day you develop the faculty of reasoning and logic, you become a seer, because you question everything. You apply dharma in that what is good for this humanity, what is good for the species, what is good for the planet Earth. Once you have this basic concept that okay, good for humanity, good for other species, good for planet Earth, that's it. Your reasoning capability has gone up, and you start questioning every sentence of the scripture, and you say, no, this is not right, this is wrong, this is not right, this is wrong. And then you take the 5 things which I told you: omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, blessed, and just. So 4 attributes of Almighty consciousness, which you can call God, or a supreme power, or super consciousness. And 3, good for humanity, good for species, good for planet Earth. Put them on a piece of paper. Take any book, take Quran, or take Bhagavad Gita, or take let's say Bible. Read every sentence. Does it abide? No. You will find out there will be nothing left in those books. Finally, you will be an enlightened soul who will know how to find right and wrong. So, the deductive method of reasoning was known to seers, and those who apply this inductive method of reasoning to arrive at truth are also seers. So, you all are equivalent to sages. Now, Chudhatujmaha Nirukte Vyakarane Shatkasya Chatokani. Yaska, author of Nirukta, mentioned that all Vedic terms are yogic. We have already seen this. I am intentionally repeating this again, that all the viewers, there is nothing like proper noun in any of those Vedic scriptures like Vedas, or even if you are reading those philosophies. Everything is hidden inside the word. Giving you some of the evidence that Vedic terms are yogic. So let's go into the journey of Veda and see like how the words are used and how the words have changed in meaning over a span of time. In Rig Veda 1.12.9, Agni is called as Kavi, Brahaspati, and Yuva. So Kavi is a poet, Brahaspati, it is one of the planets, and Yuva is youth, young person. We take the word Agni as Rudi, it means only fire. So now see the difference. If we all know the meaning of Agni is fire, I also know that. But when I gave you 3 more meanings, now you know the better application of the word to the mantra can be done. Cannot be Kavi, Brahaspati, and Yuva also. Hence we have to